All right, we're going to call to order the meeting of December 21st, 2023. It is 6 p.m. First, we're going to have a roll call. We're going to go around the room, and I'm going to ask all the members present to introduce themselves, speaking into the microphone. Laura, we're going to start with you.
Laura Powell.
All right, I myself am Elizabeth Jones. I'm the chair.
Faye Brassey.
All right, absent right now we have Mark Hammis and Jane Camp. Was Jane going to come tonight?
She told me she was coming, so.
All right, well, she seems to be running a little bit late. We'll proceed anyway. Now I'm going to go ahead and allow the city staff to introduce themselves.
Brad Callender, Planning and Zoning Director.
Laura Wilson, Code Administration.
All right, next we have the approval of the agenda. And I'm going to ask if everyone has had a chance to review the agenda. Laura?
Yes.
Okay. Faye? All right. I'm going to ask for a motion, and I'm going to ask that all members show approval with a raise of your hand and a vocalization into the microphone. I'm going to ask for a motion. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, next, I'm going to have the approval of minutes, and we're going to do the same thing. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of November 2023? And
Yes.
do we have any changes or corrections to the minutes of November 2023?
No.
Not that I noticed.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion and ask that all members show approval with a raise of your hand and a vocalization into the microphone. Do I have a motion to approve
I
these?
move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right. Motion passed. Let's see, next on the agenda, I don't have any old business. Let's see, it doesn't look like. New business.
All right, we have 331 North Broad Street. This is in the North Broad Street Historic District. The house is near the intersection of West Marable Street and North Broad, and they are requesting a fence. This is a new construction in the district. And I've got a couple aerial photos showing the house under construction. And here is the proposed gate for the fence. I'm not sure if you're also proposing the columns, the stone columns, but I'm sure the applicant can speak to that. In the image below, we have a site plan that shows where they would like to put the fence. It looks like it goes around about 3/4 of the property, meeting up with the existing fence and hedge on the other side. And then here is some photos of the house and the type of fence that they would like. And so, if the applicant would like to come forward and introduce himself and talk about the project?
Yeah, I'm Daniel, I'm building the house down the street.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, so I wasn't 100% sure, I don't think I put it on the list. At a certain point, going down the right-hand side, once you get past where we've poured the driveway, I don't know if you can show that aerial view, we want to run a cedar privacy fence.
You're talking about Pat?
Yeah, right.
There-ish?
Yeah, almost. We see where the roof line goes, like the middle part right there? About right there.
Would you like to use the pointer?
Where are we?
Be right there. Yes.
Cedar. Cedar Privacy.
I don't have anything. Push them here.
And then we have to temporarily put it up right here because of all the streetscape stuff that's going on until they get it done. And then the city will move it to its final location when they
I'm
come
not
in.
understanding what you're saying. Temporary, what does that mean?
We're gonna put it in the ground to make it look like it, like, we're just not gonna concrete it until the city comes and does the streetscape later this year or next year.
The back cedar fence would be temporary, but then you're.
No,
gonna
no,
have-
no, no, everything's permanent. The only thing that's temporary is that's what's right here. Because of the streetscape that the city's doing, I can't,
Oh, you can't
so they
move it
don't have to
out. You
tear
can't
down
move it
my
out
fence and
further.
then replace it.
I see
I've
what-
agreed to keep it back
I see what you're saying.
30 feet.
What does the cedar fence look like?
It's horizontal planks, 1 by 6 by 16 foot, just,
Like solid or,
yeah, solid.
But I don't understand why you're just putting it in that position, but you're not putting it in the back, just in that one?
Well, so sight lines coming right here into the backyard.
Oh,
The other fence isn't gonna offer any privacy.
okay.
into
And how
that.
tall?
And then in the back.
How tall?
We would match the wrought iron at 84 inches.
Okay.
Do you have another,
No, it would just be, it would like have it'd be horizontal slats and then on the post, it would have post would be inside, but we'd have the vertical pieces at every post, covering the nails and the joints.
Right. So vertical wooden posts or? Yes. Okay. So the only
have
stone
another-
posts are by the gate?
Correct.
Okay.
do you have another driveway other than the front?
No, ma'am,
Okay.
not currently. We have a gravel drive that goes down right here,
Right, but it doesn't
but
go
it
into
doesn't
your
go anywhere. It
property.
just ends at the barn right there.
But is there a gate there or anything?
cedar,
See, 1 by 16 or 16 cedar slats.
1 by 16? You said 1
1
by
by
6?
6 by 16 foot.
Yeah,
So we'll run a post every 8
feet.
and then put vertical slats to cover the nail holes.
Okay,
There's an existing cedar fence right
I did see that in
There.
some pictures, and I think I sent those out in an email. Did y'all have a chance to look at those? And you could see the part of the cedar fence. Did you have a chance to look at that?
Yeah, but I didn't bring my phone with me.
Here, I have it, if you want
But
to look.
you're not talking about that proposed gate, are you?
No, I am not talking about the gate. There was a picture of a cedar fence, on the far side. I don't know if you could see it, but I don't know, in that email
on
that I
Paul's
sent. Did you
side.
see it? Yes.
On Paul's side, yeah.
In the
I saw
back
that.
part of the
Yeah,
picture. Mhm.
I saw that.
You could see that. I do want to note a couple of things that are, one of them, just for the record, let's see, that one of them is mentioned in a few different ways throughout the preservation standards. And it basically says that new work should be differentiated from the old, and it should be compatible with historic materials, features, size, scale and proportion, and massing to protect the integrity of the property and its environment. So basically what that's saying is that, the fence should just kind of go along with other fences in the area. So that iron fence that you're picking, it's good that you're picking something that's gonna kind of match everything else, but proportionately, it should be, or close to the same size and proportion as other fences in the area. And then, when we look at our manual for the city, it talks about fences, and then it just has a couple of paragraphs in here, but it says that open fences are a common element in Monroe's residential districts, and that it's important to retain historic fences in Monroe's historic neighborhoods through periodic maintenance and the replacement of deteriorated parts. The design of a new fence should be compatible in shape, color, and mass to other fencing in the neighborhood and relate in design, color, and materials to its associated dwelling. And then it just has a couple of pictures of fences and how they relate to the houses in the area. Did you have any other, anything else that you wanted to talk about in relation to the fence that you're putting up?
No, unless you have any questions about what it is.
Faye, did you have any questions about this fence?
Well-
I think that you probably do.
Yeah, well, I went out and measured, and going to the compatibility with the neighborhood, the Carson fence is 4 foot high, and the Paul's fence is 5.5 foot high. And you're requesting 84 inches, which is 7 feet.
Correct.
And I think that is not compatible. I think if you connect into Paul's, 5.5 would, to me, would be the max. Or it's gonna look way out of scale and proportion with that. I like the fact it's open, I like the metal part. The other part that bothers me is the proposed gate being closed. This says it should be in like color, design, and materials of the neighborhood. And that's, looks like reused, what do you get, lap board, siding kind of thing. And it's closed. And I feel like it needs to be open if it goes along with our primer here. It needs to be some kind of an open gate where you can see through it. As far as the siding on the back, the cedar, I think it should be the same height, but that could be a little higher going back. If you go all the way around the front and side of your house, the same as what's on your side, and then when you get to the cedar fence, that could be higher.
I would agree with
I'm
that.
not sure 7 feet is gonna be high, no, maybe 6. That still would look pretty tall, because you've got 2 layers from the street.
I would think it could be higher in the back. I think so. I would agree with that. For privacy reasons.
Can you make the argument scalability is, like, to the house would be disproportionate? Like a 5.5 foot fence is gonna look like a picket fence in front of my house comparative to the other houses. Mine, like, I sit closer to the road than Paul does. My road, my face
He's
is
saying he
bigger.
sits closer to the road.
It's gonna look like it's a,
Well, that's when it should be lower, according to art theory. You're actually, should have a lower fence the closer your house is to the road.
but that works disproportionate to scale. When you talk about
No.
scale, when you're further back, the lower fence is gonna look higher on the house. Like right now, it's not
The higher
even.
fence is also going close it and make it look like it's a fortification, because it's so close in. You don't get that view of being farther back. That's why you go lower, so the house looks more important than the fence. And that's one thing in here, it does say that we want the architecture to be more important than the fence. The fence needs to be subordinate.
The fence is going to be recessed back a little bit, isn't it?
Well, 30 feet until
But then later
city
it would
fence
be
is
up.
stuff, and then it'll come up to, I mean, I actually don't have a ton on the road frontage due to, at where the apron's gonna start, it's gonna have to tail back pretty quick. So you're gonna have like 30 feet, and then it'll tail back to the gate, because the gate will be where the driveway ends now at about 30 feet in, and then it'll go back forward. You know what I'm saying? So it's,
Well, I walk by your house almost every day with the dogs, and so I know that the right side is up on, what would you call it?
Raised parapet.
Yeah, it's raised. So I feel like a 7-foot fence on top of that would be extremely tall. But on the other side, it's not. Like, you know, so it's almost like, I feel like we need to take into perspective that raise, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So it could be almost 7 feet, but you have to take into account that. So the fence itself would be more like, I don't know the measurements, like 5 or whatever, 5.5, like the neighbors. I don't know how to get around that, though. But I feel like we just need to take into account
I just
that.
don't think it can go any higher than 5.5 and look right in the neighborhood. It's just just gonna stand out in your face. I don't think it's gonna be more fence than house. It's my thought.
I disagree. There's no way, a 12-foot fence isn't gonna take away from that house. I think that thing's scaled so much bigger than we wanted it to be. But, I mean, it is what it is. I feel like a shorter fence is gonna end up looking
Well, it
Like a
just won't
picket.
go with the neighborhood, it's got to be shorter to go with the neighborhood.
I think too, you have to remember you are looking at a historic district. You're
Right.
looking at and you're not looking at it, you know what I mean? You have to remember that you're looking at a district and you have to keep that in mind.
I have a hard time when we're doing what we're doing, and I gotta look at what I'm looking at across the street and to my left and right, like, I mean, but,
Let's see if let's look at the entranceway. Let's look at that at the gate and
Can I ask a question?
uh-huh.
Oops, sorry. Would you be willing to compromise and do a 6-foot fence on Broad?
I mean,
7 on the rest and 6 on the North Broad?
I mean,
side?
if, the problem is, like, if I go down to, there's not a difference between going from 7 to 5.5.
What's he saying?
Like, I'm not really worried about that scale. Like, it is just what it is. Like, it's what I have. You know, when you're at the thing, you get a deal, you gotta jump. There ain't no money left, but it's fine. If it's gonna be a no, I'll have to find a way to cut 480 feet that I've purchased down to 5.5 feet.
Or did you say you already purchased the fence?
Well, it can be cut off. Metal can be
I
cut,
was gonna say that they could probably make an alteration to the,
but
Y'all know I do
anything
stuff,
over
right?
6 is way off for
aware.
me.
It's just gonna make it,
I'm-
Would it be-
it's a double rail, so like where it fits, I'm gonna have to take the,
Laura, was your idea to do the front differently than the rest of it?
Yeah, my idea was maybe to do as a compromise, since I already got the fence, is if we could maybe do a lower fence just along the front to preserve the Broad Street vista and view coming into town, or maybe keep it at 7, but do an open gate instead of the wood gate. Do a see-through gate
compromise?
there as a compromise.
definitely do that, for sure. But, I mean, there's the closed gate's not, I mean, I think, I get the idea if you're creating a blockage, right? There's no hiding my house, like,
Well,
we're not blocking anything.
Well, not only that, you're using materials that are not traditional and they're not compatible to the neighborhood.
I think we're looking for less of a fortress look and looking for
Right.
more of a historic look.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, no, I could do that.
Would that work, though, if we could make more of a compromise? So,
Yeah.
Make the gate match the fence.
Yeah.
yeah, could we do that?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be fancier than the fence, but still open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Would that work, Faye, even if the fence was still, higher, but then we had that gate open?
How high are we talking? Not 7 foot, no.
Laura, what do you think?
clearly I don't think your gate's gonna function properly if it's taller than his posts that are proposed, so I mean,
I don't, what's he saying?
the gate's not gonna function properly taller than what he's showing in his posts and the fence that's here.
He's not gonna be on posts, it's gonna be on
It says it's on
stones.
posts right here, these are posts.
Right, but it's
So
gonna
if this
be,
is changed from a wrought iron, from wood to wrought iron, I
Right.
don't think that element will change,
right,
should not change, right?
No, yeah, we're
Height
still,
of this would not change.
we still want the
No,
stone
I
to match the
understand.
house. Yeah,
And so the
Yeah.
gate itself that's gonna have to function on that post shouldn't change either, as far as its height.
but they don't have to be 7 feet tall. The ones next door
have to
are
be flat?
6, is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about a gate.
Yeah, the gate, the one that Paul has is lower.
You know, without seeing it in front of you, telling him to do a wrought iron gate without him able to propose one to you for appearance sake, it may not hurt to follow up with one so he can, because, they have some that have the splash guards.
I think
They have some that go all the way down with the rods. So, I mean,
That's
there's
a
all
good
kinds of
idea.
varieties that you,
That's a
if
good
you
idea.
approve this, then let him have the opportunity to send you some examples. Because I can think of a lot of different rock gate, or
You're right.
open gate styles.
You're
Some
right.
that actually curve up and arch.
Yeah.
Some that
Yeah.
don't, some that are flat. So, I mean, I can think of a lot of different ways it could be done if you don't get to see it, and he comes
Right.
back with one that you didn't really say, that's what we approved. That way, he has an opportunity to come.
And we could approve that through email, right?
I would think so. If you decide to approve it and let him change the gate, and if he's wanting to accommodate that, then let him propose one to you with a condition that we follow back up with an email.
I think that-
If he's willing to do that, I mean, if you're willing to go with, if you're willing to style it similar to your fence,
It'd either be that or it would match Paul's, which would be
Yeah.
in the neighborhood,
right.
which is arched.
Right.
So it's gonna be,
This is
you
arched.
can't really do a whole lot. I mean, it's either that or, I mean, it's either straight or arch. There's not a whole lot of,
Yeah, his has got a little mild arch on it.
but he's gonna have to redo his anyway.
And then as a compromise on the fence height,
I mean,
What are the numbers we're compromising to?
that I leave to you. I mean, I think
Well,
changing the gate is going to definitely improve the entire vista as a whole, which I think is the goal. So I think in the spirit of compromise, since he's willing to change the gate, if you're willing to give him the 7 feet, and so he doesn't have
I
to,
think I think that's
I think that's a good
an
compromise.
even trade, I think.
no, not 7 feet on the front.
How far back will the fence be when the city's project is over? Do you know how far back from
It'll
like
be level with
the existing sidewalk it is
Paul's.
now?
Yeah, it'll be level with
Because
Paul's.
Paul's is gonna move too, right?
No, they're not touching this.
So is it gonna be where Paul's is?
It would line up, it would be,
Then to me, 6.5 would look great. And then when you get to where your planning is, then back in there, it could be 7.
Higher in the back and then,
In the back side and in the back, okay with 7. But 5.5 at the front.
And we can
Go
run-
with Paul's.
And I can run the privacy from the
Yeah.
side
yeah,
back,
Right,
whatever the height is on the,
yeah. As long as you don't come up where those tall trees you just planted are, come up that far. If you could stay behind where those are,
correct, you know,
I
wouldn't
think
want
would be okay.
that would look nice. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Because I could see why you would want a privacy coming.
I can too. I
You have
can.
no,
we
you have no
can.
neighbor right
That
there,
makes
essentially.
perfect
Yeah, I don't-
sense.
yeah,
No, you
the-
need some
the-
privacy back there.
Correct.
We want to be invited to the pool.
I'm gonna need a,
Are you okay with that?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the front has to be 6 inches lower?
So that goes with Paul's.
So are you saying 6.5,
No, I'm
Five-
saying 5.5
5.5?
to 6.
5.5 to 6?
So it goes to Paul's, with Paul's. The front and side back, because his goes back on your other side, so that would make it more
Theoretically, you
uniform.
step from 4 to 5.5 from the other neighbors to Paul's, right?
Right, but just so it goes and
This would
looks sort of
step
like
the
that.
same amount.
Then you can
stay
do
at
the
7,
back, the taller behind there.
Right.
Be taller in the back. I think it would look good, though, in the front if it matches up with his. It'd be a nice even line.
Right.
I mean, could it be worded to match the height of Paul's? Is that,
It
are
could
you
be
okay with
worded to
that?
match that. We can make
Yeah.
it match that in the, as we
In
phrase
the,
it.
well, and when
Well, if you do 6 feet, it probably makes it easier. Because now, like, what has to happen is I gotta go find,
not to exceed 6 feet. His is
Sure.
5.5 to 6.
do it that way, because I gotta, now, like, I don't think you can just cut this stuff. That's not how that works. Where the bottom rail is on the, like, all of that holds it together. So if I'm having to either bury that
Gotcha.
or cut it, now I'm all,
See, it's got the bottom break.
I'm loose.
Just so it's not like this at the top.
No, I'm saying,
wait a
I
minute.
can't cut a 7-foot fence
Right.
down to 6. That
Right.
doesn't work.
Right.
But now I'm gonna have to, they don't make a 5.5-foot fence.
Right, so you just don't want to
So
lose
I've gotta,
money, so you're trying
but
to figure out.
I
how
gotta
to-
be allowed to do a 6-footer, because I'm gonna have to try to trade someone a 7-foot fence for a 6-foot.
We're sorry you didn't come here first.
Do I?
I said, we're sorry you didn't come
it's-
here first. But I know you have to do things when you have to do it sometimes.
Do y'all think do you have any more questions?
No, not if you,
Are we ready to make a motion? Okay,
you can make me make the motion, okay.
okay.
All right, let me help me with the wording now, so we
Okay.
get it right.
Would you,
I move
so would you like me to restate what I have?
do what?
Can I
Let her
restate
make
what?
a motion.
Okay, make the motion first.
All right, I make a motion that the fence on, what's the name of, 331 North Broad be acceptable with the material of iron, open iron, and the gate open, not to exceed 6 feet tall. But at the side where the tall cedars or whatever behind there, it could go up to 7 feet. and could be solid cedar, horizontal as he's presented. Is that good?
And then I also have that it'd be 7 feet along the back. However you want to make it along the back.
Right.
All right, do I have a second? Or I guess, okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And for this one, I guess, since we only have 3 of us here, I'm going to vote on this as well.
Yes.
All right, so we're all going to vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the motion has passed. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate
And
it.
working with us, thank
Right.
you.
Hold on, I have your TCO. I am out next week. so-
All right, let's see here.
Sorry, but
Is Tim working next week?
All right, so next on the agenda, we have our adjournment.
Yep, have a good
Can I
night.
have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
second, when is the January?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me.
This concludes the HPC meeting of December 21st, 2023.
When is the January?